无边无际的大海，那海面波涛汹涌，我们不畏惧艰险，让我们手牵着手，让我们肩并着肩，美好明天在眼前。
Здравствуйте, my fair weather friends, and welcome back to another episode of Kachimuchi's Game and Spooks. Similar to a few years ago, when I did the Summer of Disney, this year I will be doing another collection of creepypastas this summer, titled The Summer of Fallout, my favorite game series. Although the Fallout franchise has not been terribly prolific in the realm of creepypastas, there are still a few very popular and time-tested ones. In fact, one of the very first creepypastas I narrated on this channel was a Fallout creepypasta. And frankly speaking, for all the really creepy mods that are made in the Fallout games by a lot of very talented mod authors, I'm frankly quite surprised that not more creepypastas about Fallout exist. My only guess is that Fallout didn't reach the major popularity it has today while creepypastas were at their peak. But of course, especially for me myself, Fallout has left a very major impact on my life, regardless of whether or not it has many creepypastas or otherwise. I'm serious. It is quite possible that I have wasted years of my life trying to get mods to activate or stop conflicting, or even to get the games to launch on my computer. Having said all that, today's featured creepypasta is Fallout 3. Number Station. This story is perhaps the most popular Fallout creepypasta, and was quite prolific when it was released. When certain characters use some very random moon logic, they literally uncover a history-changing game feature that Bethesda certainly did not want them to find. How could Bethesda have created a feature in a game without a single bug or glitch? Well, there is only one way to find out. And so, without any further ado, let us begin Fallout 3 Number Station by an anonymous author. Fallout 3 contains several in-game radio stations. The most diverse and important is Galaxy News Radio. Many players of the evil persuasion know that you can kill Three Dog, the station's host, and he will be replaced by the technician, Margaret. She is not a charismatic person and has very little to say, seeming to not enjoy her new announcing duties. She also never appears in person, and therefore cannot be killed. Once Three Dog is dead, you're stuck with Margaret. What most players do not know is that under certain circumstances, GNR will become a number station. A number station is a radio station that broadcasts an unusually coded message. Many of these exist in real life. Some hypothesize that they are a nuclear retaliation control network. You can check Wikipedia for more information about these odd broadcasts as they relate to the real world. No one is really sure which actions are needed to hear the number station in Fallout 3. It appears that you must kill Three Dog, because no one has reported hearing the number station with him still alive. It also appears that you have to skip over the quest, Galaxy News Radio, where you help boost the station's signal so that it can be broadcasted further than just the immediate DC area. This is easy enough to do with either a speech check or by using the Fallout Wiki to look up where to go next to advance the main plot. Finally, you definitely have to destroy Raven Rock. This is the actual trigger to turn GNR into a number station, and will remain such for the rest of the game. However, the vast majority of players who perform these three actions still continue to hear the standard GNR broadcasts, so there must be several more requirements the community has yet to isolate. If you're lucky enough to have hit upon the right set of circumstances, just after destroying Raven Rock, you will get the message, "Radio signal lost," and a few seconds later, "Radio signal found." You cannot, however, actually listen to GNR just yet, because you didn't actually boost the signal and are out of the range of the broadcast at the exit of Raven Rock. Luckily, Raven Rock is situated in the mountains, near one of the few places outside DC that you can get high enough to catch the signal. So far, the confirmed locations to hear the GNR number signal are 1. Within the immediate DC area. Obviously, this is true for the regular GNR throughout the game. 2. At the top of the Ferris wheel at Point Lookout. 3. On the tops of some of the SATCOM arrays you can climb in the northwestern map area. 4. On the roof of Tenpenny Tower, though this may be within normal broadcast range anyway. Feel free to playtest and get back to me on this. 5. On the highest point of the broken bridge around Erifu, again, may be within broadcast range anyway. And 6. On some of the highest points of the mountaintops in the area near Raven Rock. This is obviously your easiest chance to first listen to the number station. When you tune in, you will hear an old, familiar voice. 3 Dog, despite the fact that you killed him earlier. However, you will quickly notice that he doesn't seem to be in character, so I guess it's not technically 3 Dog, but the voice actor, Eric Dellums. He reads a series of numbers in a monotone, depressed-sounding voice. He always recites a list of single digits between 9 and 12 characters long. For example, 9, 3, 7, 9, 1, 7, 2, 0, 3, 4. He never uses a multi-digit number, like 11 or 40. These numbers are followed by widely varying lengths of Morse code. This is then followed by the song, "I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire." All other music tracks seem to be inactive at the number station. The Morse code was the easiest part of the mystery to crack, as it was widely available, and many people actually know it off by heart. We quickly had a list of great numbers of messages in English. Some sounded completely mundane and even comical, such as, quote-unquote, "Washed the car today, maybe Chinese for dinner," or, quote-unquote, "Have you watched my YouTube video yet? I uploaded myself kicking bums in the nuts." You may be saying, but wait, YouTube doesn't exist in the Fallout universe. And you are right. As far as we could tell, all of the messages sounded like they were based in our reality, somewhere near present day. Some of the messages are quite sinister. For example, quote-unquote, "The Queen has died today. The world mourns, as on days like these, we are all Brits." Or, quote-unquote, "I can't believe they've actually done it. Not long left. The noise. I can't take the noise anymore. I have a pistol in the attic." Just recently, a player on the wiki forums noticed something that brought to light the meaning of the messages. He was reading a thread that collected all known ones, transposed from Morse to English, and saw the line, quote-unquote, 1, 2 0 5 5 2 8 2 0 1 0. What you talking about? You'll be missed. He discovered that this referred to the then recent death of Gary Coleman, and then quickly realized the numbers were the relevant date and time it occurred. He immediately scanned through the messages to try and find more examples of this apparent future telling by a game that wasn't more than a year old. The next message he read shocked him and pushed him to enlist the aid of others to help decipher the codes. It was, quote-unquote, 9 4 5 4 2 0 2 0 1 0. Accident in the Gulf. Several dead. Oil spill apparently averted. He realized this was the BP oil explosion and the erroneous Day 1 assessment that the well was not leaking. From this point on, all numbers will be transcribed as times and dates. All times were given in-game in military format and remain so in this document. Quote-unquote, 0016, December 24th, 2012. Quote-unquote, 10:23, September 20th, 1991. Quote-unquote, 12:05, May 28th, 2010. Quote-unquote, 14:31, March 11th, 1933. Quote-unquote, 05:11, August 2nd, 1999. Quote-unquote, 11:25, June 19th, 2014. Quote-unquote, 10:22, September 11th, 2001. Quote-unquote, 22:11, May 22nd, 1866. And quote-unquote, 03:34, January 7th, 2014. Numerous members of the Fallout Wiki message board began looking over the messages to see what else could be learned. We quickly found that most of the dates were from after the game had been released, yet oddly, some were from the past. Quote-unquote, 12:15, April 15th, 1865. He's dead, and blame will probably be placed on that actor, Booth. Johnson had better not cheat me out of the payment. This shed new doubt on the official version of the Lincoln assassination. As the community quickly started piling up interpretations of the messages, the mods of the site summarily banned everyone who had posted in or even read the thread. All references to the number station was removed from the Fallout Wiki, and filtering software was put in place to prevent the reposting of any relevant information. A few people, however, are trading emails, slowly finishing the translation of the remaining messages and putting dates to the existing ones. Quote-unquote, the Queen has died today. The world mourns, as on days like these, We are all Brits. 1421, March 19th, 2014. Quote unquote. Have you watched my YouTube video yet? I uploaded myself kicking bums in the nuts. 24/16, December 24th, 2012. Quote unquote. I can't believe Britney's actually won an Oscar. 21:33, February 27th, 2023. Quote unquote. I can't believe they've actually done it. Not long left. They were warned, but they just had to keep pushing the boundaries of science. The noise. I can't take the noise anymore. And the light. Dear God, the universe is slowly unraveling around us. I'm not going to wait for death. I have a pistol in the attic. This is actually the only message not preceded by a string of numbers. It may also be worth noting that the latest entry on any of the messages is 01/27, July 6th, 2027. The end. And that was Fallout 3 Number Station, written by an anonymous author. Looking back on this story a little over 10 years after it was released, it's quite clear to see the creepypasta wasn't as prophetic as it intended to be. The Queen of England, at least officially, did not die in 2014, and the Britney Spears, or indeed anybody named Britney, won an Oscar in 2023. This future-telling aspect of the story is actually quite similar to the other creepypasta, Dead Bart, where it has the prophetic deaths of its celebrity appearances written on gravestones. So, at least in the regard of time taking its course, this creepypasta's days were always numbered, in terms of how believable it could be. Despite that, this was a very fascinating creepypasta, regardless. If I had been playing this game back in 2008, and I heard some fairly realistic things that are possibly going to happen in the future within a video game set in the far future, I think it would be quite terrifying. I also thought it was quite creative for this story to reference number stations, as they do still exist today but were quite prolific in the Cold War period, which is more or less kind of where Fallout takes place, give or take a couple hundred years. You can add to that the fact that these are sometimes used for nuclear launch codes, and you might say it fits perfectly in the world of Fallout. Also, I'm not terribly in the know, but I wonder if anybody has made a mod for Fallout 3 or Tale of Two Wastelands that incorporates this into the game. I'm kinda doubtful that it would. I would have heard about it, but Fallout 3 does have some very unique mods that lots of people have forgotten across time. Aside from that, and the internet forum format that I enjoy oh so much, there isn't a great deal of staying power to this creepypasta. Its future-telling attempts automatically make it obsolete, so there isn't much horror in that regard. And when you take away all the Morse code translations and whatnot, this is really just a radio station where nothing but numbers play. Of all the things that could be modded or actually happen in the Fallout games, it's relatively underwhelming. But despite all that, I think this story definitely deserves its place as the most popular creepypasta in the Fallout series. If for no other reason, it tried to predict Britney Spears winning an Oscar. I, for one, cannot think of anything more horrifying than that. Thank you very much for watching or listening to this installment of Kachimuchi's Game and Spooks. Why not do us a kindness and leave a like, share, comment, or subscribe. And besides this whole Summer of Fallout thing I'm doing, Don't be afraid to leave any suggestions for creepypastas for me to narrate in the comments below. Now, if you'll excuse me, well, I was going to say I was going to try and find a mod that incorporates this into the game, but I had enough of a nightmare trying to get Mart's Mutant mod to work in this game, so I'm going to stick with what I got for now. Numbers are kinda boring anyways. This has been Kachimuchi, and that's about all I have to say about that. Farewell.